So hello guys. I kind of wanted to do a bit of an update. I might start sketching while we're talking in a little bit, but for now I wanted to talk about the projects I've been doing. I'm sure that you've noticed that for the last 2 weeks we haven't had a video on Wednesdays. We have one yesterday and we didn't have one a week ago. So there are reasons for that I wanted to discuss. Um, First thing that I want to do is go through the projects and talk about what's going on with them individually. And then we'll go from there. This is what I keep my projects in. You see, I have my side, which is my Saturday stuff on hold and stuff that's completed, not much back in the completed. And then I have this one pocket up front. I haven't showed you guys this. I've talked about it on Bluesky, but this is part of a project that I want to do for a series of Tano medallions. I don't know if I'm going to continue with this one. I am really struggling with some of the coloration. So this one is not really on hold. I'm just thinking about it a lot. So I have two projects in my main compartment, and that includes the witch's hat, which I intend to continue. I'm actually really excited about the witch's hat. Even though the purples haven't come up as bright as I really wanted, I did find some solutions for my shadows and things like that. So I'm still working on this. This will come back up. Yesterday and the week before, I actually was working on something else, and it's part of the reason why that did not come up. And then the other one is the toucan, which is what I was working on yesterday, but now I'm a little upset that I've messed some things up. But I messed some things up in the process of trying to figure out what was going on with the black. I've had some issues with the black, and I've had to try to figure out how to work around them, and you'll see that on a project that we're going to get to in a minute. I don't know if I'm going to continue the toucan on this, or if I'm going to remember when we first started working with the toucan, I started doing it in colored pencils, and I may just finish the one that's done in colored pencils rather than doing a makeup version of it. A lot of projects, artists tell me all the time that they do end up dropping a lot of projects. It's not unusual. And for me, it's a little harder because I am trying to figure my own way through, so to speak. I have found that makeup, while very interesting, it's not like anything else. It's not like, say, pastels. It doesn't Pastels do really well on grittier type papers. I have found that the makeup just gets more smeary and harder to control when it's on papers that are not, it can take some grit, but not as much grit as I thought. So that's going to be on the projects that's on hold right now. But I'm going to continue also with my koi on the weekends. I am actually very pleased with how my koi is coming out. And so I'm going to continue this. I actually have plans for him. I won't be keeping him. But I'm really pleased with how he's coming out really right now so far. And I hope that I can keep it up. It's one of the big things is keeping up the quality, and especially when you're learning so much. So I'm trying to stick with tried and true techniques on this, and yeah, working with it that way. I'm not going to do a lot of experimenting on this. I did do a little bit on some of it, but I'm very, very pleased at how he's coming out, honestly. And all the glittery, sparkly stuff too. Really nice. So the project that is definitely on hold is my bee. I've had some issues with the black. You can see a little bit up here. I tried to cover it up. It didn't cover up well. I'm not sure if you guys can see how dusty it has gotten up here. I did something else down here, But this is the woven paper, I believe, the watercolor paper. I love this paper, I really do. And it worked really well for everything else, but for the black, it just really isn't. And I have figured out how to work with the black, but I think what I'm going to end up doing with this is I've ordered another book, and we'll take a look. That's about this size, and I suspect I'm going to be redrawing and reattempting the bee on a smoother mixed media drawing paper that does not have the texture of this. This texture is fine for most of these colors because we didn't have any problems up here with the flower. But the black just is everywhere and taking over. And I think I'm going to need papers that are smoother to work with if my project has a lot of black in it. So the bee is going to be on hold. I'm going to try to redraw it. We'll see if I remake it. I'm not sure if I'm going to remake it here on the channel or if I'm just going to go ahead and try to get as far as I did here and then go from there. So here's our original toucan done in pencil that I'm thinking of going back to. I do find this is the Soufli paper. This paper has a bit of texture on it that the pencil doesn't seem to like. But things that I've been working on in the meantime is I've been doing a lot of tutorials. This comes from this book. I recommend it. It's not my favorite, but it's a really good book. I like it better than another book I picked up, which, because it has some steps in it. The other book I have doesn't have the steps. The steps in there are kind of lame a little bit, and that does not discuss shading at all. So I've been working on a few tutorials. I don't think I ever mentioned before. Wow. So that graphite from the pencil does get on the next page. But I don't think I've mentioned it at all, but I have no actual training. My mother was an artist, and I loved her art, and I worked with her art. I watched her art. So I did a lot of drawings as a kid. But other than maybe a summer program at some point, I don't know, possibly doing some stuff as a kid, I never got any formal training. My mother didn't even train me. She just did her thing, and I picked up books and stuff like that. So I've been working on tutorials to pick up my foundations and stuff like that. This is my current one that I'm working on in a tutorial, and that comes from this book, which includes shading and texture, and I'm going to be working on that tutorial. So here was the original seahorse. Now see, this is why I like this book better than the other book I showed you, because she does have step by step, and she does show process, and she talks about understanding what you're doing and all of that, shading values and stuff like that. So these, if you're trying to learn to draw, I highly recommend Catherine V. Holmes, How to Draw Cool Stuff. I'll try to link it down below. There are several books in this particular series. There are 3 in particular that, well, I have 2 of them now. This one I got mostly for the cat. It still isn't quite what I wanted. There's a lot of stuff in this one I probably won't draw, but it has the same kind of showing how to put the shapes in and then going from there. So I do recommend these. She has one for holidays, so I guess there's 4 books. I don't know if I'm going to get the one for holidays, but yeah, so I'm working on that. And I just started this one. I just learned that Boriquen, which you guys call Puerto Rico, which is called Puerto Rico, has a dragon mythology. And there is this cute t-shirt that I've seen that I wanted to use as an inspo for a dragon picture. And now I have, now I've got to remember, it's called Vejigante. I'm probably mispronouncing that because I'm terrible at things like Spanish. Sadly, I did not get raised with that. So now that I know about that, I have a basically I needed to take the inspo photo and figure out a way to make it my own, which is what I try to do with all my pieces. The original my witch's hat does not have, I should say, my witch's hat is different from the original witch's hat that I took it from, in that I moved some things around and I added a teacup and I added that moon. So I try to do things to make what I'm doing, even if it's coming from an inspo photo, I try to do things to make it mine. And so yeah, I have to make changes, but I'm really excited about doing this. I am closing my pencils because we might get interrupted by Kitten. She is being wild and crazy. So I do have small projects like this that I'm working on. And this is brand new, obviously, but I'm real excited about this because I've been wanting to do dragons and trying to figure out how I wanted to do my dragons. And now I got a dragon I can do. I'm very excited about it. One of the other things that I've been doing, remember him? I should probably finish him someday, is I am now doing, if you follow me on Bluesky, you know that I do Feather Fridays, or I started off doing Feather Fridays. So I did Feather Fridays for a while. I've been practicing a leaf. That was a first try that I didn't like. That was some colors. This is another one. I do need to finish her, but I've been taking my time with it. This was mostly to get used to the shading and trying to trust myself with colored pencils and stuff. Again, it is on the Soufly, which is different than this. This is mixed media paper. They have several different sizes. So I have this size. This is the size I'm using for that Puerto Rican medallions I was talking about. This one is a larger size, and then I have a bigger one that I'm thinking about working with the bee in. So this is a smoother texture, and I'm looking forward to playing with it a bit more. I have not seen much problems with it when I'm working with it when I was working on the medallions. So anyway, so I've been doing Feather Fridays, and then I just recently, a couple weeks ago, started doing Mushroom Mondays. And then this week, I started Whisker Wednesday, which is interesting. This is the first ever cat I've ever drawn. I'm having fun with those challenges and trying to pursue just my art, trying to improve my art. And the nice thing about the Feather Fridays and the Mushroom Mondays, and hopefully these, is that they're supposed to be quick, minimal thought sketches, which is so much fun. But that's one of the reasons I do them, is because I put so much thought into everything else that having these simpler sketches is really a good way for me to decompress and just push myself to do something within 10 or 15 minutes. And then I usually post a short video on my TikTok or on Bluesky. Have you calmed down, baby? Where did you go? Okay. Big girl is up on the, they're both up on the dresser. I spoke too soon. She just knocked shit over. Anyway, so another reason that I've been having trouble with deciding what I'm doing is kind of stupid. And I say kind of stupid because she's being freaky tonight. I'm, even for my garden and everything, I'm noticing that my views here are way down from when I was doing makeup. And I'm really disappointed in that. And I know I shouldn't be, because what I'm doing, I am doing for myself. I'm just playing. I don't know if I'm going to keep this. Wonder if I should I just make you spiky? What do you think, folks? Should one of them just be spiky? Just spiky. The dragon I'm talking about is going to have a lot of stuff like this. Like that. So a lot of horn type things going on that I have to work in as well. And one of these is going to be red and the other one's going to be blue. I'm just really excited that there's a dragon mythology I can play with. So maybe my blue guy should have them softer things, and my red guy should actually have like spikiness. What do you all think? I think I'm leaning that way. Anyway, as I was saying, I know I really shouldn't be, and I've always said that I don't expect to reach a whole lot in terms of an audience. It became obvious to me very quickly that, as usual, I was late to the party, so getting a big audience was probably not going to be on the menu for me, or on the horizon for me. And that's fine. But it has been discouraging that even when my views go into the double digits, the actual average duration drops dramatically. Most average durations at this point are below. I'll make the rest of him spiky. This should be spiky. Yeah? I kind of like the fluffy tail, but if he's going to be spiky all over, this should probably be spiky too. I'll have to think about it, honestly. Especially since we're so close to the upper edge up there. Something I'm working on. Centering my projects better. A little better. Somewhat better. At any rate, so that's been kind of disappointing and discouraging as well. But, like I say, I'm mostly doing this for myself anyway, so maybe I shouldn't be discouraged. I don't know. At any rate, so I have some things that I have to think about. I'm debating on whether or not to keep the Wednesday, the longer art day. I might keep it um, through finishing the. Give you just a single horn. Kind of like that, giving him a single horn, and this guy more of this. I kind of like that. I'll probably finish through the witch's hat, my witching time, but I don't know if I'll do any other longer projects. I might just keep it to Saturday stuff, which means that you wouldn't see much on the channel nowadays, because the only other thing that I have going on the regular is the missing Indigenous women. So I haven't decided a lot. It's kind of rough right now, as you all know, with everything that is going on with the presidency. It is very hard to not be dragged down by it. And that's also a struggle that I'm working on as well. So there's a lot going on, and I kind of like that idea. I'll have to do it much more, much more. I am planning to use makeup on this, so I might put this on our list. I'm really hoping that as I work at this has been a nice paper, really. It just my issue with the semi thing is with the medallions is not the paper, it's the colors I'm trying to figure out. And because I'm still doing a lot of learning and having to make it up as I go along, because nobody else is doing makeup as their, you know, um, medium, I have to figure it all out. They aren't like pastels. Pastels, I don't know, even though makeup has an oiliness to it, that oiliness is different than with pastels. Um, they aren't like watercolors, even though I have to do a lot of layering. It's just very different than other stuff I have worked with. So in the past, and I find that while I can get some ideas from other how-to type things, that they don't always, it doesn't always translate well, if that makes sense, to the makeup. So yeah, so that's what's been going on. I don't know if you saw, I've got a new signature that I've been getting used to. I've got my new signature that I really like, that I'm finally really, it's only taken a few pictures, but I'm really getting used to doing it this way instead of the way I was doing it before, um, which was this kind of mess. I really like the new signature better. I do it close to my pictures because there's so much theft on the internet. It's just crazy. It's just anyway. So I'm thinking about what I'm doing for the art stuff. I still really want to do it, but at the same time, like I said, it is discouraging to the filming is not discouraging. I enjoy doing the work. I do have to work with my voice volume. I have noticed on the last couple that when I'm working on the art that my voice sounds really muffled. A couple that you guys didn't see because they got tossed. But that my voice sounds really muffled, and it's because I'm not thinking of my voice volume so much as what I'm doing on the paper. So I got to work on that and make sure that I'm louder than I have been. And then like I said, yeah, I don't know. I do enjoy the filming. The filming is great. I really enjoy the filming. But the filming sessions last anywhere from an hour to just over 2 hours, of which I shave at least 15 to 20 minutes off when I say the total time. And in the box down below, I say what the total time of the video is. I shave at least 15 or 20 minutes off of that because a lot of that time is me trying to, get my tools and deciding on a new color or whatever I'm doing. But then after that, so say I have an hour to 2 hours total, or an hour 45 that I have to edit. And at the editing, you spend more time editing than you did actually filming. So if a video is an hour and 45 minutes, I will spend at least 2.5 hours, at least, editing it. And that's where the issue comes in for me for continuing to film for the channel. So lots for me to think about there. For now, we will continue on the witch's hat. The other stuff, I don't know. We will continue on the koi. This might make it into the mix as well. The bee and the bee for sure, I'm going to have to redraw. The toucan, I may not finish on makeup. I may just end up finishing the sketchbook version of it and going from that. Kind of losing interest in it a little bit. I really do like my bee though, so that's one of the reasons why I might redo that. Anyway, so I wanted to give you guys an update because, like I said, we missed 2 weeks of long version. I have tried to cut the long version ones down so that they're between 30 minutes to an hour, like my old videos were. I do not intend to get back into doing much makeup in terms, other than the missing women, missing Indigenous women, and maybe the occasional try on or whatever. I have a palette I want to buy that I want to do a try on for you guys. But beyond that, you're not going to be seeing a whole lot of makeup. So now it comes down to figuring out, do I want to keep the long art pieces, or do I just want to have 2 videos a week, both of them, one of them very short? Well, one video would be every other week. So I'll have to figure it out. You'll have to let me know down below if you stayed this long and what you think in terms of especially the art videos, since I'm trying to decide what to keep and how to do them. Do you like the new format of the longer ones if you've been here? Still going to do the garden ones for a bit. Those seem to get a little bit, but again, like I said, what little traction they don't get much view time. It's interesting. I will get double-digit views, and the average view time goes below 5 minutes. It's very bizarre, especially on the longer ones. On the gardening ones, that's fine, but on the gardening ones, it goes down to, less than 2 minutes. It's weird. So like I said, let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything you would really, really, really miss and you want me to bring back. Makeup ones would be hard because I'm not rotating through a lot of makeup. I'm not buying a lot of makeup right now. My favorites aren't changing that much. So those things might not be very useful at this point. But let me know down below if there's anything that you really miss. And otherwise, I hope you'll be back. And I hope you'll like, share, subscribe, do all those YouTube things for us, for me. And hopefully next week I will be back with my witching time. We'll get back into witching time, which, like I said, I've been very motivated to do. And we'll see if we can bring this in at some point. I'm excited about this. I got to get him finished out before I do any makeup stuff, and I got to figure out a few other things, but I'm really excited. I need to bring some semis in here somehow. Haven't figured out how I'm going to do that, but we're going to do some stuff. I'm excited about the dragon. All right, so that's it. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, comment down below, all of those things. And in the meantime, we shall see you later. Bye. Yeah, my voice. I don't know why it went worse.